We are live. We're officially live, everyone. It's Wilco the Cry here, and I hope it's all working. And if you can hear me and see me, please let me know in the chat. I'm looking here at my laptop to see if you can all hear me before we get started. I already see a ton of chat going on even before I was here, which is awesome. And I see people from all over the place. I'm just going through the chat. I see Muhammad, I see Mark from, I thought he was Dutch, but he's actually from Slovenia. I see Mitch, as always, awesome Mitch to see. I see Connor, I see Jose, I see Xio, I see Jan Kaptein, he's obviously Dutch. We got more Dutch people in the house. I see Justin, Victor, I see Marco. There's a lot of people going on, and people can apparently hear me. It's working, yay, as Roaming said. It's awesome. It's really good to see all of you here. Even though it's always funny, like for anyone who has ever done a live event, I will tell you, there will always be stuff that goes wrong. So up until 2 minutes ago, I was literally running around the house to make sure everything was all good, and we're all good. So let's just get started. I'm especially happy to see that you're all here because for some reason the email didn't go out. There were some issues at ActiveCampaign. So people who were waiting for an email, they probably didn't get it. But hey, that's the thing with live. Let's not get started. Let's get started and let's not keep you all waiting. Because as I mentioned in the emails and all the earlier communication, my team and I we had a brainstorm session, and basically what it comes down to is like we're doing some really cool stuff with email, and the way we use email marketing to get more customers into our business, right? Which is something that all of you should want as well. And it's something that's not just specific to one industry or one market, and it's also not, some kind of a gimmick that only works today and not tomorrow. This is based on fundamentals, and it's been working consistently for years and years. And still, a lot of people, they're not doing it, or at least not doing it right. And we were brainstorming, and I realized like this is something that our community needs, to learn. So we started mapping out, and there was so much. So like, all right, I should create a course around this, right? A whole course where I teach people from A to Z, because this isn't something that I would just, throw out a quick webinar on, and people would truly, get all the details that they want to get, right? I could give them the overview, but it wouldn't be everything, right? So we started brainstorming more, because I try to raise the bar when I do things, right? I try not to accept the status quo. So yes, I could say, well, I'm gonna create a course. And after I create the course, I'll create a sales page and get people to like, hey, I got this course, it's awesome, you wanna get in, right? And that's a legit strategy. A lot of people do that, right? And you provide value and you get something in return. But we wanted to take it up a notch. And that's why I figured, you know what? While I'm recording that course, I'm gonna do it all live. So everyone who's there with me live can watch the course for free. And it sounds like a great deal because I have my own selfish reasons for that as well, because I always enjoy being closer to the community. And I feel this is a way of doing that, where we're just like here in my little home studio right here. Even though you're at home, I totally get that. But in a way, you're here and you're getting the behind the scenes on what we're doing. And that to me is just, this is our own little community right here. So yes, you could also just close this and just wait, and then later on you could obviously buy the course, but right here you can just watch it live with me, and you're gonna get to ask questions, or we can do sessions in between I do the recordings. So that's the game plan. So let me know if that sounds good. Give me a quick yes. And while I'm saying that, I just want you to know there's probably going to be a delay between me talking and you receiving it. So whenever I ask a question, I may be talking for a little while before I check my screen, because usually it's going to take a while. And just so you know, I'm a typical guy. I'm going to be honest about that, which means I am the worst multitasker of all times. So if I don't read your messages for a while, don't be offended. I just know that whenever I try to read messages and then do this as well, because obviously this is not my native language, then I just go like, I go all awkward, because I just can't multitask. Even though I'd love to do it, I can't. As much as my wife would love me to do that as well. Anyway, so I see a lot of yeses, which is awesome. And again, I really want to thank you for all of your time to be here with me together. Cool stuff. So the way it's going to work, what I'm going to do is we're going to have like this, our in-between time, right? And I'm actually going to create videos, and I'm going to actually let me just get the microphone ready. There are all kinds of cables around here, as you can imagine. So I got a television right here, which is going to help me to hold on, always funny. So now let me just have a quick look if it actually looks good. Because here I got on my phone, I can actually see what you guys are seeing as well, which helps me to see if I'm doing it right. So here we'll have some content on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach content. So I'm going to do, because I'm literally creating a course. So what I'm going to do is I'm record all the modules one by one, right? So today, tomorrow, and the day after. Tomorrow we're starting at the same time as today. And the day after also the same time as today. And all of these 3 days we're going to create the whole course. So there will be times where I'm actually doing a module and I'm recording the video. I'm not pretending to be live, or like I'm live, but like I'm not talking to you guys and girls. I'm not, making references like, hey, ask a question. None of that. I'm recording the course so we can edit it later, and then we'll create a bundle out of it. And then I'll go back to you guys like, hey, all right, done. The module was done, and that's how it's going to be. Now, a quick insider, usually when I record a video right here in my studio, because we have the whole team remote, like we're not, like I'm in the Netherlands and everyone is somewhere else. So I'm literally here on my own, talking to a camera, which is kind of weird. And sometimes I need to give instructions to my, to our team, like to our video editor, his name is Geoffrey, to say like, hey, could this part out, or like this wasn't really good, or stuff like that. So what I usually do to make sure there's a difference between like the good part and the bad part, I usually have this sign, right? So what I'm gonna do is, after I've done recording a video, or if in between a video I want to talk to all you guys and girls in between, I'll just do like this, like, hey, by the way, was that good? And we'll just cut that part out of the course, but that's just for us, right? So if I do that, that's like sneaky stuff, or perhaps just stuff for Geoffrey. One last note, I know you want to get started. One last note as well is that normally when I create a course or any video, I'm embarrassed, but usually it takes me quite a few takes to record a video. And obviously today I'm not going to be able to do that, right? Because we're all here live, we're all waiting. I just have to keep on going. I cannot restart over. Usually it's like 5 or 6 takes, and then I'm happy with it. Today, I'm just gonna go with the flow, but if I do make a mistake, you may notice that I shut up for a minute or like a couple seconds. We'll just edit that part out. Or if I just start over like 30 seconds before, don't think I'm paranoid. We're just cutting that part out, if I make a mistake, because obviously I wanna keep on going, but I also wanna make sure the course ends up being good. All right. And yeah, what time is in the Netherlands? It's right now, it's 2 p.m., just past 2 p.m., obviously, a couple minutes past 2 p.m. Yeah, let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the very first module. And that is, let me just pull that up on my screen. Hold on. Just making a quick change. That's the beauty of doing things live. There's always stuff that needs to like be different or whatever. And I'm gonna go and move my mind map to the screen. Now I'm not sure if all of you can actually see it. I'm hoping you can. But I'm going to start with the introduction now. I may have to take a little second before we get started. The introduction is obviously just going to be a bit of a boring video, right? And one last thing. Yeah, thanks Thanks for that, saying that. More pressure to do it live. First of all, thanks for that. I'll take the spirit with me. So obviously, one thing I wanted to make sure everyone knows as well, like obviously you can keep on sharing this with your friends, right? If you want, if you have any friends or people around you that you know have a business or run a business or want to grow their business using email marketing, like use your personal invite link. And if 3 of your friends actually enter their email address, you will get access to a cool tool. I'll share that in just a second, or right after I do the first video, because I just want to get that video over, because it's a bit of a boring video, right? I have to get my mindset right. I'm just repeating. And by the way, I'll be opening some of the things on my back end, so I'll be looking backwards for that. Let me just see if I can know the shortcuts. Yeah, the shortcuts should be fine. Actually, so I'll do a section and then I'll stop for a second and I'll do another and then we'll edit it. Cool. Hey, it's Wilco de Kruij here and welcome to the Email Hacking Masterclass. I'm really excited to see that you're on board. And in this video, I'm going to give you the introduction of what to expect in this course and how we're going to how we're going to do this together. I'm just gonna, okay, you see that on screen? Let me change the screen for you guys so you can actually see it with me. That may be easier. Cool, like that, right? Maybe easier for you guys who are watching it live. So this is an in-between time. So just real quick, in case we haven't met before, my name is Wilco de Kruij and I'm the CEO of AppViral and Connect.io. And I started out online when I was 16 years old, like a long time ago. And over time, I've been building and growing various businesses. And for a long time during that time period, I saw all kinds of people saying like, hey, email is the best thing ever. You need to build up your email list. But to be honest, I was actually late to the party. I never really done a lot with email marketing up until, I would say, like 5 or 6 years ago. And right now in my business, email is actually responsible for the biggest ROI, return on ad spend, or return on investment that we have in our business. And because of that, I wanted to, and that's the foundation of, sorry, I shouldn't curse when I'm live. I'm on my own. Sorry for that, guys. So I was saying responsible for biggest ROI. Sorry, we need to get into the game of this. You see, like, it's not perfect. Everything is not perfect but I'll just keep on going. So where's my keyboard? Oh, that was not the plan. Sorry for that, guys. Well, it will be smoother for next video for sure. Sorry. I need to get used to this. So what you're going to learn in this course is, so in this course, I'm going to show you how to generate recurring revenue using a simple yet little known email strategy. So during this course, what we're going to do is first we're going to go and dive into the foundation, the whole strategy. And after that, I'm going to share 5 of my best campaigns along with some real cool nitty-gritty tactics. Yeah. I just want to, all right, I should do this smoother for next video. Sorry for everyone who's watching live. And as I mentioned, let's start over. So I'm so embarrassed right now. Next video will be better. So the reason why I created this training, and besides that it's actually our #1 revenue source, is also because, like, first of all, according to HubSpot, more than half of marketers say the email is still their biggest ROI. So it's not just me who's saying it. It's definitely one of the biggest ROI. But at the same time, email is not all perfect. Like personally, I struggle quite a bit with the old approach, the typical approach of doing email, because honestly, like, I'm not the best at sending out broadcast emails. First of all, I have a hard time coming up with new ideas. I have a hard time writing them. And that's just an internal problem that I have. I feel that if I send out more emails to my list, I feel like I'm annoying them, right? So I don't really want to do that. And with what I'm going to show you in this course, we don't have to send out as many broadcasts and you don't have to annoy people and still get similar results. So that's the reason why I created this training. And as I mentioned, during this, I'm going to show you all kinds of tactics. But one thing that I want to stress out is that whatever you're going to learn here, right, it's not focused on the tactics. I'm going to share a ton of tactics, but the end game is strategy, right? Because you cannot build a long-term business on just tactics alone. So there's an overall strategy that's way more important than all the little nitty-gritty tactics that I'm going to show you. Both are really cool, but what's important is to have a look at the long-term game plan of your business. Don't just think about today, tomorrow, or next week. Think about the long term. And that's why this course is so powerful, because what you're going to learn is a stepping stone that's going to increase over time. You'll add more value into your business. And 2 years from now, you'll be thinking like, wow, like everything I built back then because of this course, it's still helping me to grow my business. And that's what we're going to do. So I'll see you in the next video. That was not the best first one, but hey, I needed to get that out of the way. Cool. I'm just looking at the chat. Where's my mouse? Oh, it's over there. Someone's asking, Mark is saying like the mind map. It is MindNode. It's a Mac tool, and I use it for quite a few things. And I mapped out the whole course in MindNode, so I can just do it as we currently do it. So, and actually, before we go to the next video, I wanted to answer some questions as well. I think I got some questions on the Facebook comment feature on the thank you page for this whole campaign. Let me just actually check that. I got it here on my iPad. So if you see me looking over there, it is because I'm looking at my iPad. It's not working the way. Cool. Sorry for the delay. All right, let's see what kind of questions. So, the main question that got asked in the comments feature is, what do you think about email versus Messenger? So this is not the course. This is just you and me. Let me just switch back to my main screen so we can actually see each other. So what do I think of Facebook Messenger? To be honest, I think Facebook Messenger is awesome. Like if there's a good chance you guys and girls have read messages from me as well. And if not, you should subscribe to my Messenger list. So I do think it's great right now. The problem is that I don't think it's going to be great forever. I'm pretty sure of it, because for those of you who've been around for a while, a couple years back, it was the same thing with Facebook likes, right? People were spending a bunch of money to get a lot of likes, because once you got a like on your Facebook page, you could post something on your Facebook page and everyone was seeing your message for free. It was the best thing ever since sliced bread. Guess what happened? They just started decreasing the amount of messages that people started to see. I think that the average percentage of people that will see your message if you post something on your Facebook page is like a couple of percent, right? Unless you use a really cool tool, which we're going to release later this month, but that's for like next month actually, but that's another story. So only a couple percent of reach if you post something on your Facebook page, and unless of course you pay money to Facebook, right? That's what they want. So like it's just a matter of time before the same thing is going to happen with Facebook Messenger as well. People just, people build up their email list, and at some point Facebook is like, cool, now if you send out a message, only X% of people will see your message unless you give us more money, right? So yes, I still believe that email is still the way to go, because it is independent of a certain platform. There's no single platform that controls it all. Obviously, there's some parties that have a bigger role in that. Like for example, Gmail is huge, right? But there's no single platform that controls 100% of all email, and that's the key right there. Because if there's a single platform like Facebook or WhatsApp, which is obviously also Facebook, then rest assured they're going to charge money to reach people. So that's my take on it. I hope that answers it. Cool. Let's just keep on going. Let me see the chat as well, and then we go to the next video, because I want to dive a little bit. And for those of you, I saw some people asking what I'm using to do this live cast. I'm using OBS. It's a free tool. There's one downside. My Mac is super slow, so it's hard to actually check. Someone just said like, hey, if I'm switching screens, people didn't see it. I see what's happening. From now on, it should happen. So now let me just do a quick demo. I'm looking at that camera right now. I got an extra camera right here. You can actually see the setup. I'll share you guys. If you want to see the setup later on, I'll do that as well. But that way I can just, do like stuff like for example, this, so I can actually show the screen behind me while I'm still there. So my apologies for not having that in order for the last video. So I'll do that for the next one. Cool. So I think it's good to dive into the second video. Let me just go through my notes. Now, by the way, if you have any questions, please ask them. Feel free. I'll dive into the chat as well. Oh, someone's actually, or not, like I thought I saw someone asking about the free tool earlier, and I think that's a good point. So as I mentioned before, if you share the live broadcast that we're doing right now with your friends, and 3 of your friends sign up, enter their email address, you'll get a free tool. And some people asking, hey, what's the tool like? Now, unfortunately, recording my screen is like super slow right now. So what I've done, I've just pre-recorded a quick video of that tool, so you can actually see it in that recording. It's like 2 minutes. Let me play it for you so you have an idea of what it is. All right. So here's the free tool that you get as soon as 3 of your friends sign up. So here's the in-house tool that I mentioned, the one that you'll get as soon as 3 of your friends sign up through your invite link. So in here, there's various proven automations or email sequences, however you want to call them, that have proven to work really, really well for us. So there's basically a swipe file that you can just use and copy if you want. So for example, let me just open one for an example. You can just add in some questions. So for example, your product name, let's say viral. What could I cry? What type of product is, for example, software, right? So the questions depend on the sequence. Hit save, and now as you can see, it's already added in. You'll see exactly when to send it out, what the email should say. You can even download it right here. So you will have a text file that you can just copy into your email autoresponder with your name and everything in there. So we're planning on adding more sequences there as well. It's all in here. And again, you will get access to that as soon as 3 of your friends sign up through your unique invite link. So if you can share this even right now, that would be amazing. So share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, wherever you think someone else would join and benefit this live stream that we're currently doing. That would be amazing. So thank you in advance. All right, that was that. So again, you can still share it right now, even if before every video, like if you just want to share this on Twitter. And actually, I already got a lot of people, I'll talk about that later, who already shared it. So I'm very thankful for that because it helps us get the word out. And obviously that widget right there is done using UpViral, which is our platform, which is actually the #1 platform to build your email list. But that's also the thing that we use to build our email list. But I'll talk more about UpViral later on. And also, the more you actually share, the more friends you get to sign up using your link, the better chance you'll have to win some awesome prize. So we're giving away UpViral accounts, but also some t-shirts with UpViral as well during the live cast. So that's all cool as well. Let me just dive into the next video. So for this video, again, I just did an introduction video for the course, right? And this is still you and me right here live. And the next video, like the first video, was all about, you know, and usually I don't, for those of you who create courses, I try not to give too much like information just yet. It's really just, you know, casual, getting them started. And in this video, I'm not doing the teaching of like, hey, this is what we're doing, but I want to make sure to get their mind at the right place. And in this case, your mind, because obviously you want to make sure that you basically you understand why I'm doing this, because if you don't understand the reason why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it, then you may know all the tactics, but you'll never really execute on it because it's just this thing that happens. But if you actually know like why I'm doing it, it's like, huh, that makes sense. I need to do that as well, right? And obviously the reason why I'm creating this course is not because it's fun to look at. It's to get you results, right? And the likelihood of you getting results with this is obviously a lot higher if you actually implement this. So I want you to really go through all of this while we're here together, not just as a thing like, how cool, and we're chatting out live and whatnot and awesome, but I want you all to like make notes and actually do things. So actually post in the comments, like just also to inspire the rest of us. If you make notes right now, if you have your note paper, pen and paper ready, post that in the comments, like I got my pen and paper, something like that. And what's even better, if you don't just say like I have my pen and paper ready, but type it in a different way. Be creative, right? Inspire each other to make sure we all learn here and we all take notes. do that while I'll get started with the second video. And this time I'm gonna try to oops, I'm trying to, yeah, that one, that's the one. So this way you can all see a little bit better. So the video that we're gonna do now is called The Shift, as you can see right here. And that's what we're gonna talk about. So, so now I'm gonna get started with the second video, which is called The Shift. I'm gonna do it step by step for each of those. Cool? So the way I look at it is what we're going to teach you in this course is what I call the new way of doing email marketing. And in this video, I want to talk you through like what the difference is between the old way of doing email marketing versus the new way and what made that change, why I even went to that direction. And perhaps it's something that you're doing to some extent, but not completely. Obviously, in the next videos after this, we're going to dive more in depth. But in this video, I want to make sure that you actually know what we're going to be talking about. Oops, no, that's not what I meant. Yeah, like that. So, as I mentioned before in the last video, when I got started with email, I didn't know anything about it actually. So all I did was I had some people entered on my list and I started sending out what's called broadcast emails, which means you would type an email, you would press send, and it would send out to everyone. That's pretty much it, right? And that's how I've been doing it for a long time, right? And as I mentioned, like I had always had a hard time coming up with new ideas what to write about and then actually having to write about it. And I personally am not a writer. I don't know about you, but I'm not a very good writer. I don't enjoy it and it just takes a lot of my time, right? But I had to send out every week or so, or even multiple times in a week. I had to come up with new emails, write new emails while having the issue of like, hey, I don't want to disturb my audience. And if I didn't, there were no results. Like if I wouldn't send an email for a month, then obviously no one would open my emails. And like, that's pretty obvious, right? So then after a while, obviously there were these things called So after a while, I noticed there were these things called drip campaigns, which basically means that someone opts into your email list and then on day 2, they would get an email. On day 3, they would get an email. On day 4, they would get an email, etc., etc. You probably know the drill. Still, it's a mass approach. Everyone who enters that list would get the same follow-up sequence, right? Drip sequence, follow-up sequence, it's the same thing. Which was a lot better, right? Because now I was able to get people onto my email list. And for example, if I had a 30-day drip campaign, a 30-day follow-up campaign, then even though I didn't write a single thing for those 30 days, I would still have new people opening my emails, clicking on my emails, and perhaps even making a purchase. So in a way, I was generating, ongoing revenue from those emails. But still, like, it's still a mass approach, and it's not really where you want to be these days if you're doing marketing in 2019 or 2020. So while I was talking, I mentioned 2019 and I was like, damn it, I should not have done that, because obviously this is something that works long term for all of you guys and girls. So that's why I added in 2020 to make sure if someone goes through this course next year, they don't feel like, oh, but this is old school, because it's not. This is all based on fundamentals, and there are also going to be some tactics, but like all for long-term stuff. So that's just between you and me. Always good to make your content evergreen, to make sure you don't mention any dates or times, unless it is very time sensitive, of course. Cool. Now, over time, things evolved, and right now we've got all these awesome tools that allow you to do full automation, email automation. And using automation, you can make sure that the right message goes to the right person at the right time. And what I noticed is for my automated emails, and I'm going to show you more in depth what I mean with that, is that those emails have a much higher ROI, right? And I'll show you also why that is the case in the next videos. And they also have a much longer lifetime, right? So you can actually write an email today and it will still be generating results for you 2 years from now. And I have got a living proof of that, because none of this is based on theory. This is all based on my own account. This is all based on my own experience and my own statistics. And for those of you who know me, you'll probably know that I'm a statistics nerd. I measure everything. So if I say something converts well, you better believe it, it converts well, because otherwise, like, I would have stopped promoting that campaign. And also these emails are much more targeted, which means they're not as annoying as the general broadcast emails. And that's really what we're going to go into in this course. Just so now obviously, let me just, sorry. Now, obviously, there are some things to consider, because as I mentioned, we're going to dive in deep into email automation, how to do that better and get people who opt into your email list, get them to become a customer. But what's really important is that you need to keep things simple, because I'm going to share some really nitty-gritty cool tactics, but that's not for everyone just yet. If you're just starting out, I want you to make sure that you focus on the simple stuff first, and then we're going to add more complex stuff later on. That's always really important. Let's keep things simple. And also what's really important is that nothing replaces a human touch, right? I mean, you can automate a lot of things. We're going to automate a lot of these emails, but it should never mean that you're just fully automating your business, because these days that's just not possible. In fact, I've just looked up my statistics on our support desk, like actual answering tickets, email support tickets. And personally, I've already replied over 25,000 emails just on the support desk alone, not even my private email. Now, I'm not saying that to brag or that you should work on your own support. I'm saying that whatever you automate, which I'm a big fan of, which we're going to dive deep into this course, you should never think like, oh, but if I automate, I don't have to be, have any personal relationship with my audience. You have to be there personal as well. That's always very important. So with that having said, I'll see you in the next video. All right, that was video 2. I'm still trying to get the hang of it, if I'm being completely honest, because I think normally it goes a bit smoother. I can retake some things. There were some parts I wasn't fully happy with, but that's the thing with live. I just have to keep on going. So I hope you all excuse me for it. And let me just do a quick check on the live chat. So in case it wasn't clear, let me just move to my main monitor. In case it wasn't clear from that video, what this course, what we're going to do is we're going to dive deeper into email automation, not just like email automation, but like the actual campaigns that are getting us results, like and some really cool stuff inside of that. So if you're already doing something with email automation, then rest assured you're going to love this. If you're not doing anything with email automation, you're gonna love that. Like, that's pretty much it. And the whole, like, what we're gonna share today and tomorrow and the day after is all focused on getting results, making sure using email automation you get more customers, right? Doesn't matter whether you're a restaurant owner, you're an e-commerce shop owner, or whether you're a coach or consultant. This is like, this works across all industries. So that's what we're going to do these couple of days. So over time it will be more clear, and especially tomorrow and the day after there will be some real nitty-gritty cool strategies and tips and tricks and all that. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Next video is gonna be really good as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Yeah, next video is gonna be good. There's some real content in there that I know all of you are gonna love. You can let me know if that was accurate or not. Before we continue, let me just quickly check the chat. Where's my mouse? Here it is. I appreciate it. Thanks, Angelica. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Wasili. Thanks, Tony Duarte. Thanks, Paul. So many cool people. Amanda, Peter, Richard, Joseph. There's so many people right here. This is awesome. I love it. I know it's just me here standing on my own, but it really means a lot. Of people are like watching live, even though the emails of like this whole event didn't go out because ActiveCampaign dropped the ball today. They were down for hours, probably still are. Like, that's another story for another day. But even though ActiveCampaign was down and no emails were sent out. Oh, and by the way, for those who are watching, like or like if you get an email later, like tonight, hey, we're starting in 2 hours, that's not my mistake. That's what happens if you deal with technology. Let's just put it like that. So the email should have been gone out for like a couple hours ago, didn't happen. So I'm expecting at some point they're sending it out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's keep on going. 2 videos down. The next video is actually going to be longer. In the next video, it's not just going to be like, it's not just going to be for email automation. This is going to be for everyone who's doing email. So if you have an email list or you're planning to build an email list, the next video is where you want to make sure you take notes. There's going to be a lot of stuff in there. I'm going to share exact formulas of for what to put in an email and things like that. Various tools that I'm using. So I'll try to slow it down a little bit in that video, but rest assured you want to take some notes for that one. That one's like, I think that's going to be very valuable for a lot of you. I hope you excuse me for this. I figured, like I always, doing live, it always drains the energy out of me. Like if I do a webinar or something like that, after that, I'm just completely, like all the energy is gone. So I figured, let's get something healthy. So I went to the shop and got something that at least looks healthy. More healthy stuff right here in case I need it. All right, Tony is asking, what email company do I use? I'm using ActiveCampaign, but after today, I'm not so sure. Well, probably it's too difficult to move to a different provider. But right now I'm using ActiveCampaign. I've been using it for a couple of years, and let's just say we have a love and hate relationship. I think that's the best way of saying it. And someone's asking, are you going to cover building a list? Yes, we're going to cover building a list. And for those of you who don't have access to AppViral yet, AppViral, it's our tool that to help you build your email list using viral giveaways, viral sweepstakes. And actually, like I said, I'm going to be giving away a free account to AppViral as well. And actually, I'd love to hear, like, who here has access to AppViral? Like, let me know in the chat. Like, I have AppViral, and if you have a reason of like why others should join, please let me know in the comments as well. I'd love to hear it, because that's like, let me just. All right, seeing some chat, but obviously there's a delay. So AppViral, it's our tool to build up your email list. And what you can do is like, actually, I'll show you a demo later on. For now, I don't want to stop. I just want to make sure we dive into the content, another content video first. Actually, real quick, Emily has AppViral, that's awesome. Moomhead has AppViral, Mr. Bach has AppViral, Emil has AppViral, Mindhunter Paul has AppViral. There's a lot of people. So if you don't have AppViral, you are missing out. Obviously, that's the #1 tool to build up your list. And in fact, it's funny. I'm not sure for you, like, I'm not a Snapchat user at all. I don't use Snapchat. I don't like it. I don't even get it. And I remember at some point I got an email from a WhatsApp message from one of my friends, and he's saying like, "Hey, Russell Brunson is on Snapchat and he's using AppViral." For those of you who don't know who Russell Brunson is is the founder of ClickFunnels, and he's obviously doing very well. So this friend sent me a message like, "Oh, Russell Brunson is on Snapchat." I had to figure out how Snapchat worked, install it on my phone. I had no clue, and apparently after 24 hours, the message is actually being deleted, and it was already like 20 hours in or so. So I needed to, I don't know, like X amount of hours in. So I needed to make sure to download that video, find a way to record that video because I wanted to keep it. And I actually want to play you that video real quick because that's just one of my geeky moments. He's one of my mentors right now, used to be one of my mentors, I have to say. And I'm still following him to this day. I'm learning a lot from him as well. But the moment he was shouting out about AppViral on social media, that for me was like super awesome. So let me play that quick video just for fun's sake, and then we're gonna dive into maybe the video that most of you, like, you're gonna, if you don't get good value out of that, I don't know, like then you're in the wrong place. So playing that quick video, and then we're gonna dive into the next video to record for the course. Let me just look it up. And there we go.
Steven is about to log in to AppViral to see what happened with Snap Funnels throughout the night. It could be good, it could be bad. We have no idea. What do you think? Is it gonna be good or bad?
I think pretty good. I think pretty good.
Here's the metric so far.
All right, we got 203 people that have gotten their reward back. 3,800 people have looked at it. We have 727 shares.
Interesting, John.
You gotta check it out. So like it only says 173 Facebook shares, but there's 727. So we got a lot of other kind of.
Check it out. Twitter, LinkedIn.
Everybody, this is John Parks here with ClickFunnels on Russell Brunson's team. I just wanted to give you a shout out here from ClickFunnels headquarters and let you know that Wilco is awesome. He's legit. His products are awesome. His training's awesome. So listen to him. You'd be doing good.
All right, that was that, and the reason why I showed you that video is also so I can prepare the next video real quick. So yeah, for me that was a real special moment to see that even even Russell Brunson was using a viral and he was helping it to grow, using it to help him grow his business. So that's just for everyone out there who's watching this and for some reason doesn't have access to a viral. I don't know why, but in case that does happen, just once again, the widget that you'll see down below with your unique invite link, that's done with a viral. So that's one of the many ways of using it. Helps you to grow your business, get people to share your business on social media and everywhere else. So the next video is called The Good Email. Let me just get ready to record the next video. I'll check the chat right after, just so we can keep on going. I think this will be better for all of you who are watching live. You actually see what I have on my screen. I think that will be good. Sorry for that. So before I'm going to show you how to set up, So before I'm going to dive deeper into the automated email side of things, I want to make sure that you know how to write a good email, right? It doesn't really matter whether you're sending out a broadcast email to your whole email list or whether you're writing a message to an automated sequence that would go out at a certain time to a certain person at a certain moment, right? But the email itself should be good. Now, what's considered a good email and how do you even come up with that? Now, there's some things you can do to write good emails even if you're not a good copywriter, as am I. I'm not a great copywriter at all. English is not my native language, and yet I'm able to write good emails. Why is that? Well, that's because I'm following certain rules. I have some tips and tricks, and I have some tools that help me write better emails. And that's what we're going to go into in this video. So the first thing you'll probably be writing the first thing that people will see when you send out an email to your email list is obviously the headline, right? It should grab their attention. It should make sure they want to open that email, because if they don't open your email, it doesn't really matter what's inside that email, right? Now, what do you do for the headline? How do you write a good performing headline? So let me just open up, because I have a couple of formulas that will help you to write better emails. And as you down below the video in the members area, you'll get a PDF with 15 headline formulas that you can use exactly with some examples. So you can use any of those to write new headlines for your emails to make sure that they stand out, to make sure that people want to open them. But just to give you a couple of examples, one that always works well is if you use curiosity with a certain benefit, right? So something that makes them curious, but also is clear like what the benefit is for them, the thing that they want to get out of it. So for example, you could say, sorry for that, let me just move the screen. So for example, you could say the little known blah, blah, blah to get a certain result, such as the little known email strategy to generate recurring revenue. Oh, that's funny. Now I wanted to talk to all of you guys, but I forgot I was actually doing a video for the course. So Geoffrey, the video editor, that moment, like, that should be cut out, obviously. And for you guys, like, obviously that's what I'm doing in this. I've used that as well. Like the little known email strategy. It makes it more like, it makes you more curious, and also to create recurring revenue, right? So that's the benefit. That's, I'm actually using what I'm preaching right here, right? Let's continue with the video. Another one is to write something like how and then add in something completely random. Something that doesn't seem to be related to the subject you're actually talking about will get you a certain result. So for example, how Bitcoin will help you your relevance score. If for those of you who are familiar with Facebook ads, your relevance score is a specific thing inside your Facebook ads account. So let's say I would send out an email to people who are known and experienced with Facebook ads. And I'm sending like, hey, how Bitcoins will help your relevance score. Like helping their relevance score, that's their benefit. But how would Bitcoin be related to that? That doesn't make any sense. Why is that? The only way to find out is to open the email, right? So that's an example of using curiosity with a certain benefit to make sure people open. That's one example of a headline formula that you can use. Another example is to say like the right way to do X, Y, or Z, right? Because when you say another formula is to say the right way to X, Y, or Z, to do a certain action. So such as, for example, the right way to launch a product, right? Because when you say the right way, it makes people wonder like, well, is this different than how I'm doing it, right? The right way to create Facebook ads. Like if I would say, this is how you create Facebook ads, it's kind of like, all right, but the right way, it makes me want to know what the right way is. That's for all of you guys in between. I wanted to share something real quick before I continue, because if you click share down below, right, below the live cast, you will be sharing a message on Facebook. Now, I didn't just randomly pick that, right? And because if you share that, you would see that the message you're sharing on Facebook says the right way of creating automated emails that sell, free 3-day event. That's the message. Unless you've shared it from the very first day, then your link may be saying something else. But right now, everyone who hasn't been sharing it before Monday should be seeing that right there, the right way of creating automated emails that sell. And I've tested it, and this one actually worked best across all messages, right? So I just wanted to share that to let you know that this, like again, it's based on my own data. This gets people attention, and especially it works even better just between you and me if you capitalize the word right. Like you're not just saying the right way of doing it, but like the right way of doing it. It's a simple difference, but there is a difference right there. So anyway, I just wanted to share that real quick. Geoffrey, that's not part of the course. That is for the live streamers between us. So let me just continue. Another one another headline formula that's easy to implement is to say, how much do you truly know about a certain topic? Like for example, how much do you truly know about Facebook ads? Because people they're always thinking about themselves by nature. So when you ask something like that, if when you use that in the headline, people will be wondering like, I want to know actually. So that's always in the headline as well. So these are 3 examples of headlines that you can write quite easily. They're super effective. Again, in the download area, in the members area below this video, you should see the PDF with 15 headline formulas with examples. Just for those who are watching live, that PDF is obviously not here available right here. That's like once the whole members area is created, we have created all the resources. So I'll hope you'll excuse me for that it's not right here available. It's not finished. But yeah. Cool. Now, before we move over to the content of the actual video, what's really important as well is that when you're testing, and before we move over to the, Before we move over to the content area, I just wanted to add one more thing to writing your headlines, right? Even though you have certain formulas and you're like, this should be a good headline to get people to open it. There's only one way to know for sure. And I know it's so easy to just write an email, write a headline and press send. But it is almost just as easy to write 2 headlines and then send 50% to one headline, 50% to the other, 50% of your list to the other headline. And I know it's more work, but you'd be surprised how interesting that actually is. So with that having said, like, I just want to make clear that if you have a substantial email list, if you have at some point a list that's bigger than, let's say, a couple thousand people, then I would highly, highly recommend you to do A/B split tests. It depends on your software how you do it. Every tool, almost every tool like Aweber, GetResponse, ActiveCampaign, Drip, they all support it. Feel free to reach out to your autoresponder to check how they do it. But that's always been super valuable because you will see exactly what people respond to and what they will not respond to. Now, once you wrote your headline, you obviously also need to have an email, right? And what I decided to do is give you 2 formulas that you can actually use to write your email content. Now, I want to make sure and stress out that obviously you can write whatever you want in your email, but if you're still trying to figure things out, like what works best and what not, it may help to use any of those 2 formulas to get the point across, to get people who read your email to actually take action, because that's the critical part here. Like, if they just read your email and they just go on with their day, that's not what you want. You want to make sure that you draw them into your email and get them to take the action that you want them to take, whether that is to click on your link, whether that is to join your product or your service, or whether it is to join the training that you're hosting. You're trying to get some kind of result from your audience when you're sending out an email. And that's what these 2 formulas do. So I'm going to dive both of these formulas. I'm going to show you in depth to give you some inspiration of what you could be writing in any of your outgoing emails, whether that's a broadcast email or an automated email. So here's the first formula, and what I'm going to do first is I'll just go through the whole formula, and then I'll open some examples. So here's the first formula, and what I'm going to do first, I'm going to talk you through the whole formula, and then I'll fill it in with an example so it makes a little bit more sense, right? So at the start of the email is a hook to catch the attention, because once they open your email, you should grab their attention, otherwise you've lost them, right? And also because on a lot of email devices, like for example on their mobile phone, they'll be reading your first line of the email, not just the headline, but also the first part of your email. So that helps, the hook to catch attention helps to get more people to actually open your email. Then you can say, like, here's the truth on the matter. Like, here's something, like whatever the subject is about, like, here's the truth. Like, this is the case. And then give them a reason, like give them proof why it's the truth. But because you can say like, hey, you know, this is the best thing ever. Like, this is, I'll give you an example in a bit, but people need to people need to believe you, right? You need to give them some hard proof. And then we're going to talk about, here's the damage that the common belief has on those who believe it. And here's what others or the author, like if you're the person who's writing it, has done to fix it and what they need to know to fix it. And then a summary of the benefits and a call to action. Now, right now it may not make sense, but this is one of the formulas. So what do I mean with that? Like the hook to catch the attention could be something that's causing an emotional response. Like you're screwing things up the way you're currently doing. That's very, like, it may not fit your brand, but that causes an emotional response. It will make them feel like, oh, what's going on here? And it could be a hook to catch their attention, or something that goes against what they believe in, for example. So if there's something in your market that everyone knows to be true, and you have a little bit of a spin and it's different, they're going to be curious, like, what is that? And they want to keep on reading. Because if you're just confirming the status quo, if I'm just sending out an email saying like, hey, you know, messenger marketing is pretty good, then people are going to be like, right? If I'm going to say, like, for example, like, oh, damn it, messenger marketing is changing on October 23rd, then it's like, but what's happening on October 23rd? I haven't heard about that, right? So try to grab their attention in the very first sentence, in the very first thing that they read once they have your email. So then the truth on the matter. So if, for example, if I would try to catch your attention with something about email marketing, then I could say something like, hey, you know what, email isn't that. Like, a lot of people say like email is dead, like that's what some marketers say if they want to promote Facebook Messenger marketing, right? So it's always the battle between those who promote Facebook Messenger and email. And if I say like, hey, email isn't dead, and then I'll have to prove it, right? Here's why it's the truth, because it's still generating ROI for us. It's still it's still X% of Amazon is still generated by email revenue. Like having actual proof of why the thing is actually the case. Like here's why it's the truth. And there's actually three reasons, sorry for that. And there's actually three ways of basically making sure someone believes what you claim. And obviously it has to be true, that's a given, right? But you can give them scientific research. So for example, as I mentioned, X% of Amazon's review, for example, X%, there's a typo in there. Let me just fix that. That should be not review. That should be revenue. Sorry for that. And there are three main ways how you can prove something is true. The first one is with scientific research, right? So you could say, for example, X% of Amazon's revenue is from email. You could give them a logical example, right? If you're sending out an email and saying like, hey, email isn't dead, you can say, well, if you're reading this on email, right? Like it makes a logical example that email is still very living, which of course it is, in case you're wondering. And emotional examples, like you can play into their emotions. Like with email, you're safe, you're in control, because you're not risking your whole list, because Facebook owns it and Facebook is going to charge you for it. Like you can play into their emotions. So whatever it is you want people to believe, obviously again it has to be true. It's not like, oh, we want people to brainwash, like something that you know to be true but maybe your reader doesn't know it to be true. In order to convince them, you can give them scientific research, logical examples, or emotional examples. I wouldn't do all three. I would just give one of the three which you feel is strong, or which you have, which is easy for you to write about. And then you go about describing the damage that the common belief has on those who believe it. Let's say the common belief would be email is dead, right? Then I would be like, making sure that people know the risk of not having email. And I would say, like, if I would be writing this email, I would tell them my story of losing all my traffic. So years ago, I had my whole business relied on traffic from Google AdWords. I didn't have an email list, and all of a sudden, Google AdWords, they closed down my account and all my traffic was gone, and all my business went to zero literally overnight, and I had nothing to show for it, right? And it was all because I didn't have an email list. And after I had an email list, I had an audience to rely on. Like even if Google AdWords would close down my account and Facebook ads would close down my account, I would still have my audience to rely on my email list, right? So for those who don't have an email list, you're at the mercy of the big parties like Facebook and Google, and you don't want to do that. It's risky, right? So describing that as a story would get the point across what the damage is, that if someone would believe email is dead, right? So I hope I'm making that example clear right there. And then after I told them like what the thing is, so after I told them what the case is and like why it's the truth and what the damage is for those who don't believe it, then you can actually say like, here's what others have done to fix it, or like what you have done to fix it and what they need to know to fix it. So I would talk about, all right, so email, hold on. I'm just thinking right now, sorry for the delay. So for example, in this case, I would say, email is the best. No, I'm formulating my sentence. This is what happens. That's the downside of doing it live, everyone. Oh, it's actually behind the screen. Let me just move it over for those who are watching live. So you can actually see it. Like that, better. So after I've explained the risk of not having an email list, I told them like what I've discovered to build my email list, which is obviously to use word of mouth, to make sure people start inviting all of their friends, to make sure you give an incentive to people like, hey, if you invite 3 of your friends or 5 of your friends, you will get X, Y, or Z, or I have something to win. And if the more friends you get to invite, the more people will actually, the higher your chance of winning. And because of that, people started to share their message all over on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. And because of that, I built this massive email list, and now my life's better, basically, right? So you see where this whole story leading up to that point. And then obviously there's a call to action, which is all about like, hey, we have this training coming up where I tell you all about it. Click here to subscribe, right? So that is the first formula. It's all about, going for a certain truth, explain why it's a truth, the risk of like not believing it for everyone else, and then what you've discovered as a fix for that, and then a call to action. All right, hopefully that was sort of clear. We may tweak this afterwards a little bit to make it even better, or provide some additional examples in the dashboard, like once it's all live. I don't have that right now for all of you guys, but for those who were here late, this is the cue of like, I'm talking to you all live right now instead of recording a video. So just to be clear. Let me just... The second formula is sort of similar, but it's just slightly different. And again, I'll just go through the formula step by step first, and then I'll talk you through the whole formula again with a bit of an example. So it all starts by telling them that you have a solution, but it wasn't always that way, right? And then you're gonna paint a picture of how bad it was before, describe the moment that you found the solution, describe what actually happened that made you change, like, wow, this is awesome. And then tell them how the solution worked for you, right? Being the author of that email. And obviously that it doesn't mean that the fact that it works for you, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for everyone, right? That's just you. So you had to figure out to make sure how it would work for everyone, not just for you, the email writer, but for everyone. And then tell them that you formulated the system, tell them you created a product or service around it so it works for everyone. And then give them reasons like why would it work for them? Like for the person reading your email, like giving them examples or reasons why it would work for them. And then explain the alternative, like what if you wouldn't do this? Like you could go for like a different way of doing it, but without my product or my service. And at the end, you would then give them a call to action, right? That's another example that you can send out to your email list as, if you're trying to get people to take action. Again, this is not the only formula. This is a formula that may help you. So to start back over at the top, so for example, I could say like building your list is easy, but it wasn't always like that, right? I could say like, hey, building your email list is actually, it is super easy. People are gonna be like, how is that easy? It's not easy. It is easy. But you can say like, hey, it wasn't always like that. And then you can I would describe like what it was before I even discovered this whole viral hacking thing. So I talk about the story that I lost my ads account, life was hard in a way. Like obviously you don't have to make it as personal, but I'm trying to make that picture clear. And then describe the moment that you found out the solution, right? So in my case, it would be like I was trying to build up my list, and at some point, I remember I was in Sydney, and I had this thing, and I created a page. People opted in, and then after they opted in, they would have to share something on Facebook, and because of that, like more people saw it, and I built up an email list for a couple thousand people. I've never done that before, and this was after like half a year of struggling and zero revenue. And then I sent out my first message to that email list, and all of a sudden I did $10,000 in revenue, which was for me like the best thing in the world. Like I would describe that emotional feeling of like wow, this was amazing. So tell them how the solution worked. That's part of it. Like don't just say like, hey, you found the solution to a certain problem, but like describe to them why that solution worked for, like what was the result of that, which isn't just about the fact like, hey, I did $10,000 in sales, but like tell them the emotional part behind that as well. Like, I was struggling for 6 months. Like I didn't know I was able to make something happen again. And all of a sudden it worked. And I called my wife. She was still back home. Actually, that was my girlfriend back then. I called my wife and I called my girlfriend to let her know that something worked again, and it felt awesome, best feeling in the world. Like put some emotion in your email because it makes you more relatable to your audience as well. But obviously, it doesn't mean that this solution would work for everyone. Like I hacked this all together. It was really hard. So then I hired a team, and we started building a platform called UpViral, which makes it really easy for everyone to do this, even if you don't have deep pockets, right? And now you can actually tell them how the system, why will it work for them? And now you can say, like, why will it work for them? And here's why it works for you, because it works for this in this industry. We've got social proof. Like, we got someone in this industry, and they use UpViral to collect over 100,000 leads in the first 30 days, like giving them reasons why it should work for them. And then obviously you can also say, like, hey, explain the alternative. But obviously you can just keep on going, build your list without UpViral. It will be hard, it will be slow, or you can, depend just on Facebook ads and just on Google ads. But if they close down your account, all your traffic will be gone. So it's better to build up an email list using UpViral. Now, obviously this is just one example of using it. But these two formulas could be a foundation of like coming up with some ideas for writing emails that will get people to take action towards a certain goal or a certain thing you want them to do. Whew, let me just take a quick breath, but even though this video is not ready yet, we're still gonna do more of this particular video, but I wanna check the comments in between. So let me just where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Cool. Let me check the comments. Is this good so far? Please do let me know. All right, Connor is back, which is good. Hopefully everyone is happy, and we're all getting value from this. Still working on the third video right now. We're halfway through the third video, and I just want to have a little bit of a moment with all of you. So if there's any questions, feel free to let me know right now before I move over to the second part of this video, and then we'll dive deeper. Awesome content. Appreciate that, Ryan. Appreciate that. Cool. All right, I appreciate it. That's good to hear. It makes me feel more confident. Let me see, am I actually in focus? I'm not fully in focus. Hopefully this is better. I'm just checking it on my phone. Hopefully it wasn't in focus before, otherwise I'd have a problem because I'd have to recreate it. The beauty of tech. All right, so again, I just wanted to remind you, everyone, that it would mean the world to me if you could share this with your friends. So if you see the widget down below this video, if you just have a moment right now, you just like, you know what, I'll just share it in my favorite Facebook group, or I'll just share it on Twitter, or I'll just share it on LinkedIn, or I'll just send a message on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger to one of my friends who you think should join this live experience that we have right here. Obviously, your friends could also buy it later on, but now they can actually watch it live, which is way more fun, plus a lot cheaper as well. No pressure, but I would appreciate it. And I think it's actually time to raffle a t-shirt. I almost forgot, right? Where's the front? Here's the front. Ta-da! I think it would be cool to raffle a t-shirt for those who have shared so far. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna log into UpViral, and I'm gonna pick a winner right there. Using UpViral, obviously. So UpViral, as I mentioned, you can do various things. You can get people to, you can do a sweepstake where you can say like, hey, you can win something. And the more friends you actually get invited, the higher your chance of winning. Or you can say, do like a reward style where you say like, hey, as soon as you do X times X many things, or like you get X many people invited, or you get X points from like joining your Facebook Messenger or your podcast or whatever, you get something, right? In this campaign, we've combined it. So we have prizes to win, and after you get three people to actually enter their email address, you will get the free tool that I mentioned before with all the email sequences. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a manual winner. Now there's one cool thing that we do as well at UpViral. We obviously check for fraud and make sure there's no fraud and all that. I was a bit close on time, I didn't have much time, so I haven't really checked the frauds yet. So I want to make sure that I'm picking a winner right now, but there is a possibility I'm going to check whoever tried to sign up with their own emails after. If I pick a winner right now, and if it turns out that that person signed up through their own link, right, obviously that's not going to be the actual winner. I'm going to pick another winner after the call. So I just want to be clear. So it is possible that if I pick a winner right now and I call out your name, but you've tricked the system or tried to trick the system, Viral will have detected that, and we're going to subtract and we're going to replace it. But I just haven't looked at the fraud detection. I haven't filtered it out yet. So just want to make clear on that. So I'm going to pick one random winner. Let me just actually, I think I should. Oh, no, I wanted to stream it live on my screen, but I cannot do that because it would actually show the name and email address, and for obviously privacy reasons. Maybe I can do it partially. So let me just. Right now we got this. We got our cool mobile camera today. We're looking at. So here we got our screen. I'm not sure if you can see it. Hopefully you can. Let me just. I think this is a Viral. Oops, that's not a Viral. This is a Viral. Gonna pick a random winner, and that means that whoever has the most points. Sorry, not the most points. Like every point that you have counts for an entry. So the more points you have, the higher chance of winning. I'm gonna pick the winner, and now I'm gonna move it away because that's gonna show who the winner is, and I'm gonna share the name right here, but I don't want to share the email address. And that is Aaron. Aaron, you are the lucky winner of a T-shirt, which is awesome. I don't have your last name right here, and I would love to give you credit by mentioning your email address, but right now I cannot do that for obvious privacy reasons. So Aaron, you're gonna get this T-shirt. I'll reach out to you by email, or my team will, and then we're sending out this T-shirt. Again, we have a better price later on in this show. So with that having said, let's just keep on going. Let me just go back to the chat. All right, Mitch just had a cool idea. Maybe I don't remember you asking, but like Mitch says that. Mitch said like, that's why I asked for a live winner screen, so you can actually pick a winner live without revealing their email address. That will be a cool feature. So if my team is watching, please note that down. Thank you, appreciate that. Let me just check. All right, cool. So now, someone's saying rename it to Aaron right now. Obviously, I got his email address right here. So again, Aaron, congrats on winning the T-shirt. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you sharing with your friends. So with that having said, let's dive into the second part of this video because I was still working on it. So far, I just went through some formulas for the headlines and 2 formulas for the copy that you can put inside your email copy. And then we're gonna dive. Let me just. Oop, my Mac is having troubles. It's loading. I'm not sure what it's going to do. Well, that was not the goal. It's having a hard time, so I'll just have to entertain you guys and girls myself in between. Cool, all right, we're back. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Just trying to get it at the right place. Cool. Tim. All right, let's continue with the video. And remember, when you're trying to write those headlines and when you're trying to write those emails, remember that it takes time to master a skill, right? Don't think like I'm gonna write the perfect email right away. And that's actually why I've shared these formulas with you. So you have something going for you, so you can try those out. And once you get more comfortable, once you get a hang of like, hey, what's working? When are people actually taking action on something? When are people clicking on my links? Then you can go more creative and think of your own ways of writing emails and just go with the flow. But until the time, I would highly recommend you to go for the formulas. And always remember that imperfect action is always better than perfect inaction. I mean, there's so many emails that I actually did send out that if I look back at them right now, I'm completely embarrassed. But you know what? It's way better to send out those emails and learn over time than just think to myself like, hey, it's not good enough, so I'm not going to send it out, because that's what's going to hurt you over the long term, because you're not learning as a person and your people are not actually seeing any of your emails, right? So it's really important to always remember, like, imperfect action beats perfect inaction. This goes for email as well as any other part in your business. And again, leverage those formulas until you actually master the skill, and then you can be more creative and write your own creative stuff. Now, while writing these emails, while writing these kind of emails, I always have a little bit of a, while writing these emails, I always have a checklist that I have in the back of my mind while I'm writing them. And the first thing is always to write to one person. I remember when I was starting out, I was always mailing to like, hey everyone, how is everyone doing? I see you all next time. And turns out, there's not a group of people together reading your email, as much as that would be a cool thing to see. But there's just one person who's checking your email on their phone or at their computer, and it's a one-to-one. They don't see if you're sending that email to one person or to 1,000, right? So whenever you write an email, write it to one person. Hey you, like, it's just gonna be read by one person. And what's also really good is to try to use open loop. In other words, cliffhangers. And that's going to be more important for automated sequences, but also for your broadcast. Like, what I mean with that is at the end of the email, it doesn't hurt to tell them, give them a little clue what's coming in next. Not in this email, but just like a simple PS. PS, I've got something really cool in store for you. I'll tell you about that later, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to help them increase the likelihood of like them opening up the next email, because you're opening a loop, you're opening a cliffhanger, and the only way to know what that's going to be about is to read your next email. So that's always something to try to add into all of your emails that you're writing. And always keep it as simple to read as possible. And actually show you a little tool in just a little bit, which will help you to write your emails in super simple language, because the simpler it is, the higher likelihood that people will actually read and actually take action. So don't try to use fancy words or anything at all. Keep it super simple. And finally also keep it personal. Like, I don't want to get an email about some formal brand saying like, yeah, we've considered this option and hey you, how's it going? Hope you're doing awesome. Keep it personal, because that brings you so much closer. And yes, of course, I totally understand that you have a brand and you have a business, but at the same time, people just respond better to the person behind it. So you can totally be personal, and that even goes as far as using emoticons, as I'm personally doing as well, because it makes you more human. So with that, always keep that in mind. Write to one person, try to use open loops, cliffhangers, use simple language, and keep it personal. And while doing all of this, there's 4 tools I repeatedly use and I recommend you to use as well. And the first tool is what's called Grammarly. It's a Google Chrome plugin. It's free. There's a free version of it. And it's just a way better tool to automatically check your spelling, and not just your spelling, but also your grammar mistakes. And especially for someone like me, who's not a native English speaker, it just helps me a lot to make sure I don't have any mistakes in my emails. Because if there's one thing that's annoying is if you have typos or grammar mistakes, because it does hurt your reputation. You want to make sure that there's no typos, no grammar mistakes, and Grammarly is what's going to help you do that. Another way out. I'm just going to change the order. I'm going to do Hemingway first, and then BuzzSumo, and then your email inbox. And as I mentioned, you want to make sure your email is super simply written. And the tool that I always use for that is called Hemingway app. Here's how that looks, and basically what this tool does, it's free. You can put in your email, write the email inside this tool, and it'll show you exactly which of the sections are just too hard to read or easy enough, and it will help you to keep your sentences short, to use simple words, and just clean up your emails to make sure they're really easy to read. Let me just change the screen for all of you who are watching live, so you can actually see what I have here. Sorry for that. That is this one. And the third tool that I repeatedly use is called BuzzSumo. Again, they have a free version, which is, for me personally, is enough. You can also pay. Another tool that I frequently use is called BuzzSumo. They have a paid plan as well as a free plan. Personally, I'm on the free plan. And what it does is it will help you find the most shared content, like blog posts and things like that. Now, why would we use that for our email? So what I always do is I go over to BuzzSumo at app.buzzsumo.com, and I enter a keyword what I'm going to email about. And that will give me exactly which articles, which blog posts are most shared. And typically there's some inspiration in those headlines that you can use for the headline of your email. So step one is to enter the keyword, and step two is just to go over the results to see if you find any good inspiration. Let me just put it on screen for you guys as well. Oops. So for example, in this screenshot, I search for email marketing and I see various titles. And right here, for example, top-notch email marketing suggestions to help your business. Something like that could be a source of inspiration for my headline, right? Europe GDPR is killing email marketing to the disappointment of no one. And when I'm reading that, I'm like, hey, wait a second. Earlier on, I talked about the formula of using curiosity versus a certain outcome. But you can also use that in this combination. Maybe something completely random, like, hey, Bitcoin is killing email marketing. And people are going to be like, whoa, what's that about? And obviously there has to be a connection with your actual content. All I'm saying is this is the tool I'm using to get inspiration, to go through the titles of the most commonly shared, the most shared content on Facebook, to see if you get some inspiration for your headlines. All right. And the fourth tool I use is my own Gmail account. So what I do every single time I get an email from a marketer that stands out, or from a business that stands out to me, I save the email as a source of inspiration. Now, there's two things you can do. Every single time you get an email from a business inside your industry, for example, you could just save it. So you have a lot of emails over after a while. You know exactly, like, all these emails are in one folder. You can find them. Problem is, you're probably not going to use them. So what I've done is, instead of just putting them all in one big folder, I've actually created multiple labels inside my Gmail account. And the ones I've personally used are things like, for example, bonding, to make sure, like, if there's an email that's really good at, like, building that connection, that relationship, I put them in there. Close/scarcity emails. If I get an email with a real good way of, like, hey, the special offer is about to end, you need to get action right now, I save them in this close/scarcity emails. If I see a real good headline, one that's really standing out, I save them in headline, right? If I see a real good, for example, a re-engagement email, which means that, I sort of opted out from their list. I don't really read it anymore, but they're trying to get me back into their email list, right? I save that in a re-engagement one. If I get a certain email about, for asking for a refund or something like that, I save it there. If I get a really good email with a real good story, like a good storytelling email, I save it in storytelling. Now, obviously, all these emails, all these folders, they may be different for you, but the point is to think about like what kind of emails am I getting and saving them in a specific folder, because now I'm at the place where I'm, for example, writing a certain email, for example, the last day of a special offer, a scarcity email, right? And now I can just go into my Gmail account, look at all the scarcity emails that I've received that for one reason or another stood out. Now, I would never ever copy those emails, but it is good for inspiration. I'm just going to and that is my process to write a good email. Again, to have some formulas for, hey, why is the headline over there? Should be, all the content is mixed up. Right, sorry for that. And that is how I write a good email, right? So how to write a good headline, have some formulas in place to write good content that get people to take action while keeping things simple and, you know, remembering your checklist and using these four tools to actually make sure you write simple emails to get some inspiration and things like that. So, so far we've talked about writing a good email, right? This can be used for broadcast emails as well as automation emails. But in the next video, I'm going to dive deeper into what I call the 3R model. So I'll see you in the next video. All right, that was that. So that was the third video in this course. By the way, can you imagine there's going to be 27 videos? We're only 3 videos in. Oh well, I hope you're all getting good value out of this. If you are, don't forget to share, obviously. Let me just check if there's any comments. Yeah, so obviously the videos are like, usually I'm on my own here, so it is kind of comforting to know that you're all you know, you're all okay with me making mistakes. I'm definitely making some of them I try to fix, some of them I just kept on going. In a way, it's actually helping me, because normally I retake videos like way too often, because I want to, perhaps I'm too much of a perfectionist. I want all the videos to be right, especially if it's going to be a paid course. I want it to be perfect, right? And sometimes I can just spend an hour on like redoing the one video over and over and over again, which obviously is not what I just said. Like as I mentioned, imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Sometimes I need to remind myself. So it's funny because we're doing this live together, you and me, and because of that, I just have to keep on going. And obviously I'm hoping you get value from this as well. No worries, Connor. Appreciate it. I love it. Eduardo as well. Glad to see you're all enjoying it. I'm doing the best I can to just provide epic value here. I'm not holding anything back. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask me. There's no issues at all. Whew. Next video is indeed the 3R model. Let me just go over some of my notes right here on my iPad, as I mentioned before. I'm just gonna, for some reason it's not working. I'm trying to get my notes on my iPad. Sorry for the delay, 1 second please. We will get there. Cool. Oh, by the way, I actually want to ask you all a favor. If you can, that would be amazing. Obviously we're doing this for 3 days, right? And I'm all hoping that you're going to be here tomorrow and the day after as well, because this is just, we're just warming up here. So I would love it if you can leave a comment below what you think of the event so far. And because tomorrow, tomorrow I'm sending out an email to everyone like, hey, you know, this was awesome. We're doing it again. We're starting again. And ideally I'd have some I would be able to say like, hey, you know, this is what people thought, right? So I'd appreciate it if you can drop a comment of what you think. And you can either say like, It was awesome, but even what would be even better if you can like why you think it's awesome, because that will help people see like, all right, like I really need to be there. Again, I'm just trying to provide epic value, and what I'm hoping to get in return is to get people, you know, to show up and just do this together with my sort of inner circle, the people who are here spending time with me live. So if you can drop that in the comments, just take a moment and think of like, hey, like, do I actually like this event? That's the first. If you don't, just don't say anything, or say that it's not good. That's fine. But if you do like it, let me know why. Also, why you would recommend someone else to join as well, in case they, for example, were busy today. I would really appreciate that. So also, obviously tomorrow we're starting at the same time as we started today, same as Thursday as well, just for those of you. All right, let me just do a quick tour, because how do I even do all this live stuff, right? Let me just, because I think it will be fun to watch that as well. So, that was a cable. I almost fell down. So right here we got the television, right? We got the MacBook, which is right here, and that's where I get OBS. OBS is the tool to a live stream. We got some drinks, and let's see what else. I got my phone where I can actually see what the camera is doing, and that's the main camera over there behind the audio cue. I got two lights. They're like really low budget. I literally bought them when I was recording videos in my grandmother's basement. I'm not even kidding. That's embarrassing, but I think that must have been like, I moved in with my wife around 8 years ago. So that must have been like at least 10 or 11 years ago. And I bought them like super cheap, and I'm still using them. So whoever thinks that shooting videos is like, has to be expensive, that's the proof. It doesn't have to be expensive at all. Here's the whiteboard as well. Let's see, so for the camera, I'm not sure if I can go that far, but like here's the audio cue. My cable is not long enough. Let me just try to see if I can. So I got this audio cue right here where I can put my iPad. I'm not sure if you can see it, but my cable isn't long enough. Basically, that's a camera, and I just got that connected to my laptop right here. And that's how we're streaming this live, and now I can switch. And the thing I'm holding right now is like a cheap webcam. And I got my iPad for some notes as well, just in case I need that. And that's how we're doing it. Cool, just in case you all wanted to have a sneak peek. Oh, and one more thing, what's always interesting, I'm not sure if my cable is long enough. Hold on, because there's a cable mess right here. Yeah, I think it should be working. The funny thing is, sorry for that, we're gonna continue with all the value in a bit, but sometimes people like it to see the video setup. So right here at the back end, maybe if you watched any of my videos, and if you have any of my videos, let me know which of the videos you think is best, actually, which is your best one. But like here we got the logos of UpViral and Connectio. And there's a funny story behind that, because some people told me like, hey, that's pretty cool. Those logos, right? That looks good. Well, there's actually a good reason. I didn't have a choice, because right here, we got a window. And if there's a window in the back of a video, it just doesn't look good. So I was like, what do I put there, right? Because I need to put something there. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna order a plate with the logos on it, and I'll just put that there just to cover the light, the window. So that's just a quick, should put it horizontal again, a quick behind the scenes secret of like why there is the logos of UpViral and Connectio behind me when I am recording videos. So let me just put the camera right there again and switch back to the main camera so we can keep on going. I hope you're all having fun. I hope you're not laughing at me. If you are, that's okay. That's okay. I would laugh at myself as well. I'm just, it's so weird. Like I'm here in my studio talking to a camera, knowing that all of you are here, and I do appreciate that. But it's just a funny thing, right? I think it's funny. Cool. Whew. And exactly as Tony said, like the window is there for a reason to put the logos. That's why it's there. That will be a good thing. Now I'm just fixing my cables because Cool. All right. So we're gonna go into the next video. It's time to share more content. So far we talked about the whole order has been changed. Introduction, we did the introduction, we did the shift, we did the good email, and now let me just change that. We're going into the 3R model. And I quickly need to, make a couple of changes. While I'm doing that, I just wanted to show you a video that I got here, because I mentioned earlier when Russell Brunson was on Snapchat talking about how he used the viral. That was really cool, right? So last year I went to his event, Funnel Hacking Live. Like, I'm not sure if any of you were there. If you were, like, let me know in the comments. That'd be good to see. So I was at Funnel Hacking Live, and I was in the room, like just like everyone, having my notebook and just making notes. And all of a sudden, this guy comes along, Nick, and he's they're doing like tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Like, it's insane. And he was mapping out his whole campaign, specifically how his campaign worked. And I didn't know the guy. I was just, listening. And at some point he's like, yeah, like, you know how we build our list? Like, because how we get all those leads, right? We use UpViral. I'm like, that's cool. Like, I know, like, we've got people in all kinds of industries building their list using UpViral. Like, I know that, right? But just seeing someone on stage is just like, makes me geeking out as well. So I quickly grabbed my phone and I recorded a little piece of it. And after I catched him outside and asked him to talk about it a little bit more. So I just wanted to, I'll just play that video for all of you while I'm preparing the next video. So let me just play that right now.
Don't just assume after they've opted in to watch your thing that they're going to show up and watch it. I mean, even if it's something that they need so bad as, here's how to handle cancer, continue selling them on why they need to watch it. And then ask for the commitment. Guys, I need you to mark your calendars for the next 9 days. And if you'll do that, this will permanently, forever change your life. We're incentivizing people to share it. That social component, the UpViral thing, if you guys have ever used that, we said if you, who do you know who needs this information? If you'll share that with 5 people, we'll give you a t-shirt. If you share it with 10 people who sign up, we'll give you a free copy of the series. If you share it rather with 100 people, the prices go up and up from there. So we're actually incentivizing people. I don't recommend giving them cash, by the way. We learned that the hard way. But we're incentivizing people to share this.
Hey, my name is Nick. I want to give a shout out to Will team at UpViral. I love your tool. I can tell you we make documentary funnels, and we have used the whole idea behind getting people to share your message, send this message to your friends and family who you know who need the same information they ought to get. And not only that, we'd love to give you some prizes along the way. And I can tell you we've done it the hard way. We found some WordPress plugins back in the day that kind of sort of did this thing. This was pre-UpViral days. And we had multiple developers who had to spend multiple hours troubleshooting things, getting rid of things like fraud because of all the good people in the world. There's also some scammers in the world who wanted to just get free prizes and stuff like that. And Wilco, you guys and the team at UpViral have easy for everybody. Right? You've taken care of all the technical bits. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't have to hire developers. Things that bothered us in the past, right? Dealing with fraud. How do we, make sure we're tracking the leads properly. All of that is so easy now. You give us a little piece of code, we throw it on the site, and I don't have to think about it anymore. And we still get not only that same viral lift, but I think it's even greater now. So thank you for what you've done. Thank you for continuing to iterate and make that tool even better. And I'm just happy to endorse it from whatever that's worth. We've really enjoyed what you guys do. Thanks.
All right, so yeah, that was definitely a special moment for me because it makes it like it's so easy to be behind our computer and do our work and build UpViral and awesome and things like that. But if you didn't see and hear from people that actually build a business and grow their business using it, it's just it's just something different compared to just reading an email saying, hey, thank you, awesome, it's awesome, thank you for that. But just seeing someone on stage, that was that was special. Anyway, I was going to go to shoot that video real quick. I just saw a comment on the chat, someone asking about how would you use UpViral for affiliate marketing, and I actually want to show you a quick. I figured I'll just, because I promised to answer questions as well. So let me just answer that real quick. So I figured it's easier on the whiteboard. So like UpViral basically works in 2 steps, right? So you would have a first step, like enter your email address, right? So people would enter their email address, they would opt in, and then after that, you would have a page where you would have an incentive saying like, hey, awesome, if you share this with 3 of your friends, you would get the free tool like we do it today, or the more friends you actually get to sign up, the higher chance of winning. But you would give them some kind of an incentive or multiple incentives along with their own unique invite link, right? So this is a link. If people click on that link, if their friends will click on that link, it would go back to the opt-in page with like a Facebook button and a WhatsApp and Messenger, things like that, right? Social media sharing buttons. And this is how the viral loop works, right? And from this, you obviously build a email list, right? So if I would be an affiliate, what I would do is I would create a campaign to, for example, name a product, like some kind of an e-commerce product, for example. I would, like if it's e-commerce in B2C, usually a sweepstake or like a contest works best. So I would do a sweepstake for that particular product where someone can win a certain prize, like for example, a camera, right? I'm doing a camera right now, using a camera right now. Someone can win that camera, right? And then obviously like they're gonna share, like you build up this list and this excitement, but only one person is gonna win, right? So that person is gonna like, hey, win that camera, cool. And ideally what you can do is like reach out to whoever is selling the camera and ask them if they wanna sponsor it. Like oftentimes you'll be surprised how much people wanna sponsor if they get the right brand recognition. So that's a good way of getting to your prizes. But then you have that email list of people who did not win, right? And ideally what I would do is I would send them, I wouldn't just say like, hey, you didn't win, so buy this camera. But instead, you want to make sure they feel special. They feel, they still got something from it, right? And you can do that with a discount coupon, right? An offer like, hey, you didn't win, but you know what? Because because you didn't win, you know what? I'm actually you're gonna get a discount for this product. Go here to buy, and then obviously you can have which we're going to talk about over the next few days, an automated sequence. Doing it the right way to get people to actually buy that, right? So if I were to be an affiliate, I wouldn't send people straight into your affiliate offer, but I would focus on building the email list because that is your real value. Because even if they wouldn't buy, which is fine, you would still have that email list, right? And that's the real value right here. That's how I got started, right? Building up, promoting things as an affiliate, but then I had my email list, and that gave me the power to spend money on resources and build my own product after a while, because you already had an audience to rely on you. So even if you're an affiliate, I would focus on building your email list, and from that email, you can obviously promote products. And I wouldn't just say like, hey, buy this product. I would add value to it, right? I would say maybe like a bonus, or for example, add value in terms of like doing a good review on it, right? Like, hey, there's this camera. Don't just, hey, buy it, but like, here's why I think it's a good camera, right? Anyway, I just want to quickly answer that one. And now it's really time to dive into the next video, in which I'm going to talk about the 3R model. And while I'm doing that, the first thing I'm going to talk about is what is the most important factor of emails. And I'd love to hear from you what you think is the most important factor of an email. You'll hear about it, what it is, in the next video. Let me just put all the cables again. Whew. Usually I can do this all on my own, and now I'll have to like take into account that people are watching. Do it all smooth and all. Probably not as smooth as I would want to. I think I tripped over the cable, at least almost. Oh well. It will get better over time. By the time we're done here in 3 days, on Thursday, it will all be super smooth. So the question is, what is the most important factor of emails? AV says the subject line. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get started with the next video. I will discover what it is during that video. Let me just switch the screen so you can actually see more of it. So the next video is going to be 3R model. Again, this is video number 4 out of 27, so we have a lot of videos to do. All right. Just preparing myself. Hey, and welcome to the next video. And in this video, I want to introduce you to the 3R model, which is basically what's going to help you get better results from your email. And first of all, I want to ask you a question, and that is, what do you think is the most important factor of an email, right? Because most often people would say it's the headline, and that's both true as well as inaccurate. But yes, initially that is the main thing that people will look at. If you don't have a good headline, people will not open your email. And if they don't open your email, they don't know what's in it. They won't be able to click on your link, and you won't be able to build a relationship or do anything with your email. So yes, the email headline is very important, and perhaps the most important thing, at least initially. However, after a while, it should be the goal to make sure that people love your email so much that they don't care what the subject line is, right? Because if you really think about it, what emails you open personally, do you just look at the headline, or do you look at who sent that email? My bet is that the first thing you actually look at is who sent that email, because from some people, you just know that whatever they're sending, it is good and it is worth opening, even if they just have an email headline that is super lame and not good at all, but you just know the email is going to be good, right? And that's the end goal, to make sure that you build that connection with your audience and to make sure you send out emails that will make sure people want to open your next emails regardless of the headline. And that's something that's very important to consider. Because there are certain things that a good headline just cannot fix, right? No matter how good your headline is, if you're sending an email to the wrong person, right? They're not in your market, they're not even interested in what you have to say, then a good headline isn't going to fix that, right? It's not going to matter, right? They're not in your market, they're not interested in the thing that you have. If you're selling toys for dogs, but they don't have a dog, then you can write the best headline all you want, it's not going to matter, right? Also, you could send an email at the wrong time, right? If you're sending it at the wrong time, like they're not looking for a headline, or maybe, for example, they are a business owner and they want to grow their business, but they're not sure how yet. And if I'm then going to send an email like, hey, this is how you do Facebook ads. They're like, Facebook ads? I just want to grow my business. I want to get people into my shop. Like, maybe it is something that may be for them, but they're like, it's not the right time. Maybe 6 months from now, perhaps, right? So a good headline wouldn't fix that, right? Or if it would send the wrong message, right? You're just like, it's the right person at the right time. Obviously that part could be fixed with the headline, but if the rest of the email, what's inside the email is just not the right message, then even if you have a good headline and they open your email, if they then open your email and read the email and like, that's not for me, right? I don't relate to that. It's not my problem. It's not my solution. Move on. Let's delete the email, move on. Still, so there are some things that a good headline just cannot fix. Still, it is important, but it's not the only thing to consider. And that's what's bringing me to the main point I want to make, and that is that relevancy is. And that's what's bringing me to the main point I want to make, and that's that relevance is key, right? At all times, you want to make sure that you send the right message to the right person at the right time. And that's been the problem with broadcast emails all along. We're sending out emails to everyone, which means that some people, they may be the right person, but some, they're not the right person. Or they are the right person, but it's not the right time, right? Or just the wrong message, right? So by making sure that we're sending out the right message for the right person at the right time, we can increase our results from email like by a lot. And that's what we're going to do in this course. So I'm going to give you the exact templates and how we're actually going to do this to make sure we're automatically, that's important, we're automatically going to send them messages, emails at the right time, so make sure they're actually the right messages that are relevant for them at that time, and making sure it goes out to the right person. And we're doing that using 3 techniques, which I'm going to talk to you about in the next video. All right, that was that. That was a bit of a quick video. The next video is quite quick as well, actually. I'll just keep on going. I'll just record that. Oh, no. My Mac is doing weird stuff again. Let me just wait until my Mac is... No. I don't know what it's doing, but it is showing all kinds of stuff, which it shouldn't. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in the background in this mind map, but for some reason it basically made sure everything is big, which it should not do. So let me just minimize all that stuff, and then we can start in the dive into the next video. We just had the 3R model. Yep. And I'm gonna minimize. As you can see, there's a lot of content right here. Woohoo! It's gonna be fun over the next couple of days. Got some real cool nitty-gritty tactics as well, that not a lot of people implement. But if you do, cool. Anyway, I'm a marketing nerd. I'll admit that, but that's fine. All right, so I'm going to dive into the 3 techniques we'll be using. I'm going to just start with the video and just keep on rolling. What time is it? Cool. So how do we make sure we send the right message to the right... Actually, I forgot to switch to the other screen, so you all again watch me live as well. That seems like the nice thing to do. It's a bit of a tricky thing to record videos while doing it all live, so hopefully it's all good. So how do we make sure that we're sending out the right message to the right person at the right time? Now, in order to do that, we're going to use email automation, obviously, but there's 3 specific techniques we're using inside email automation. And those techniques, I want to explain to you what they are. So if I later on refer back to these, and I'm going to show you more exactly like on my screen how to actually set it up, you actually know what I'm talking about. So this is a bit of the theory that you need to know in order to get all this stuff done. So the first technology or the technique is what's called personalization. And the most simple, basic form of that is something that you've probably seen, is where you send in an email, you say, hey, first name, or hey, name. And instead of sending an email out where everyone would see that in their email, it would not say, hey, first name, but it would actually say something like, hey, Peter, hey, Eva, hey, Mitch, hey, Wilco. It will actually show them their own name, right? So that's a simple, basic example of personalization to make sure that information that you have of a certain person, of your lead, someone who's signed up to your email list, and use that in their email. And obviously, there are a lot more clever and better things to use than besides just their name, but I'll get to that later on in this course. So just some basic examples are, for example, what country are they from, or like which email provider, or like the unique invite link. If you're using UpViral, you can use UpViral to send them the unique invite link into their campaign, into your autoresponder, sorry. So you can literally send an email like, hey, here's your unique invite link. Keep on sharing your campaign with all of your friends, just as an example. Point being, whatever information you have from someone on your email autoresponder, you can include that in your email, such as, hey, first name, and it will output as, hey, Wilco. And that way the email is more personalized. So that's the first technique we're going to use. A second technique is what's called automation. Basically what I mean with that is triggered automation. So there's multiple ways you can send an email. You can obviously log into your email autoresponder, you can write an email and say, press send, and at that point the email is being sent, right? But there's also something that you can use to trigger new emails. For example, you can say with certain autoresponders, say like, hey, if someone visits my website, I'm going to send them an email. Now, don't confuse this. You cannot automatically send an email to everyone who visits your website, because if someone visits your website, you don't know who that person is, right? But with some autoresponders, if someone has already opted into your email list, at that point afterwards, if they're on the same device, the same browser, they would go to your website, it can actually be detected, right? It can actually be recognized. And you can then send an automated email because they visit that website at that particular moment, right? So imagine someone, is browsing on your website, and at that point, they're getting an email from you. And they're like, wow, that's a coincidence. That's the right time, right? They're looking for your solution. And if you send them the right message at that time, boom. So that's what's called automation, triggered emails, right? And the third technique we're going to use is segmentation. And that means basically instead of sending an email to your whole list, we're going to create small sub-segments of people. Like instead of, let's say you have got 1,000 people on your email list, but perhaps 300 of them are interested in a specific area, or perhaps 200 of them, they have joined your webinar, while the rest of them, they have not joined your webinar. What the key is there to send out segmented emails, right? To make sure that whoever already have seen your webinar, they're gonna get a different message compared to those who have not yet seen it. And obviously we can do more clever things there as well. But the point there is that we're gonna not see your whole list as a whole, but we're gonna create individual sub-segments with like groups of people that we can send hyper-targeted emails to, again, in an automated fashion. So that's what we're going to use in the rest of this course: personalization, triggered automation, and segmentation. And the goal of that is to take people through the buyer's journey, right? The goal of all of this is to, once people opt in to your email list, you want to obviously get them to know, like, and trust you, and then eventually get them to become a customer, get them to buy your product or buy your service. So in the next couple of videos and the rest of this course, I'm actually going to show you step by step all the campaigns that we use to get people all the way from the start, to get people opted in, and then all the way to becoming a customer and actually staying a good customer. And the tools that you can use for that, personally, I'm using ActiveCampaign, but there's a lot of different tools. Another well-known tool is called Drip. I've personally never used it, but I've heard very, very good things of it. Those are two tools that are easy to use, and they allow these kind of automation. Now, there may be other tools as well, like for example, Infusionsoft. They're a bit harder, more technical, so it depends on how tech savvy you actually are. If you don't have any of these automation tools, I would recommend you to check ActiveCampaign or Drip. And if you already have an email autoresponder, then I would ask your autoresponder, like, hey, can you actually do these things? Like, can you do triggered automation? Can you do segmentation, personalization? They pretty much all can do it, because there's a good chance that your current autoresponder can do it as well. So in the next section of this course, we're going to dive deeper, and I'm going to actually show you step-by-step various winning campaigns along with some really cool tactics as well. See you there. All right. Where is my mouse? That was that video. How's everyone feeling? Is everyone still a little bit energized, or is everyone just like us falling asleep and I'm here all along? Let me know, please. I'd appreciate that. So we just did the, what is it? I lost track already. We just did the fourth video. So we did the introduction video. Let me just zoom in on this because otherwise it's not clear. For those who are coming in late, like, I'm creating a course from scratch, which we're gonna sell after this, but I figured, we're gonna stream the whole thing while I'm recording it, so if you're here live, you can actually watch it live. So far we recorded the introduction video, the shift to go from like broadcast to automation. I went a little bit deeper on email, like how to write a good email, like with headline formulas, what content to put inside your emails, some tools that we're using to write good email, some checklists as well. I did a 3R model to make sure we're sending the right message to the right person at the right time. It's very important to be super relevant to your to whoever is receiving your email. And 3 techniques we'll be using. So over the next videos, we'll be diving into winning campaigns. And actually, I've been thinking about how to set up this whole course for all of you who are watching. There's 2 ways of doing it. Like, you can do a lot of theory and then get some action steps. And I decided to mix it up a bit. So this is obviously a bit more theory, on the theory end, except for the good email. That one's good, right? You can actually put that into practice right away. It's very practical. The rest is a bit more based on theory. But after this, I'm going to do it on a campaign step. So it's going to be very practical. I'm going to show you exactly what campaigns I'm doing. And then I'm diving in deeper inside each of those to show how it's done. So it's going to be more practical. And along those, you'll see that obviously over the next 2 days as well. So along those, while recording those videos, it's going to be you'll get all the strategies as well. So you'll learn while seeing practical things. So things that you can immediately implement into your business to get your leads to know, like, and trust you, to get people to actually buy your product and service. And once again, all of this can be used in any industry. It does not matter. And earlier someone actually asked like, are you going to show how to build your list? Yes, we're going to show that as well. But obviously, like, Enviral, like I've told that, but like, hey, it's my show, so I can say, hey, buy Enviral. Enviral is good. Kidding aside, let me check the live chat. So it's cool. Again, I really do appreciate that you're all here, and I hope you're all enjoying it as much as I am. I see there's currently over 150 people live, which is awesome. That makes it our unique little inner circle, which I, again, appreciate. So should we just keep on going? Someone saying that, Hudson is saying that he likes the mind map. Yeah, once again, that's done with MindNode. MindNode, it's an app for Mac, really. Thanks, Barty. Joseph, what email service do you recommend? That's a good question. Like, normally I would say ActiveCampaign. If it weren't that they messed up today because the emails didn't go out and they were down for hours. So probably, like, if you would ask me yesterday, I would say ActiveCampaign. If you're gonna ask me tomorrow, I would say ActiveCampaign. Today, I'm like, I don't know. But I haven't used any others for a while, so I honestly couldn't vouch for any other. But I just do know that the Drip, I have heard a lot of good stuff about it. And also, what's the one? ConvertKit, I've heard very good things. I cannot vouch for it personally, but ConvertKit, I've heard very good things about it. I would say, thanks Eric, I appreciate it. Bob is asking how long does it go for? I would say we're nearly there. Let's say do one more video and then maybe two, like, but like, because I want to respect everyone's time. We've been going at this for 2 hours, and obviously we get tomorrow at the same time as today, and the day after as well. And if you're still watching, and like, if you're like, again, this is all free, you get it all for free. So if you could pay by inviting your friends over, for example, sharing it on Twitter right now, or sending a WhatsApp to someone like who's running a business, or who has an email list, or who do you think would appreciate getting more sales from his email list? Like, if you know anyone, just click on the WhatsApp button right now. Send them a message like, hey, I'm checking this out. Even if you say, hey, I'm checking this out, I think you'll like it. I'd appreciate that. Again, no pressure at all. Just, it would be awesome. So with that having said, let me just go into the next video. Do my silly dance. Yeah, I'm still energized. Probably I'm being energized because if I wouldn't act energized, I would be super sleepy, because obviously this is draining energy, which is fine. So the more drained my energy is, probably the more active I become on screen. Well, that's how I work. My wife always complains that whenever I'm tired, I become super annoying. So whenever I'm super annoying, tell me, and I'll just stop right away. My wife's I'm gonna annoy her tonight, whatever. One of the perks of being married to a marketing nerd, I would say. All right, so we just finished the foundation part, right? And now we're gonna go over the winning campaigns. And this I need to actually fix for a quick while, because there's a lot of stuff that is all expanded. And I just need to, let me just zoom out because I apologize for the delay real quick. I just need to make sure. These are all kinds of sequences and automations that we use that I'm going to show you all as well. And with that, I'm actually going to show you some really cool tactics as we go along. So this is in the members area. Once this is actually live, what we're going to do is this is going to be a separate section. So we got the foundation, and then we get the winning campaigns, and there's like various campaigns that we're going to go through. You can already see them right here: the value sequence, indoctrination sequence, special offer sequence, webinar follow-up sequence, and the abandoned cart sequence. And inside each of these are going to be specific tactics that you can apply everywhere, right? So just want to be clear on that. So it's not just that you're going to get those sequences and that's it. Like there's a lot of stuff that I'm using inside, but you can use these tactics on any other automation. Even if you don't use any of these automations that I'm mentioning here, inside all these courses, like there's specific sections and a bunch of videos that we're going to record over the next couple of days that you can use in any automation or even in your broadcast. You will love it, I think. But the first part is obviously the introduction of this new section, and that's what I need to record right now. So I just see that the order of things have changed, so let me just quickly fix that. I'm not sure why that is. Cool. All right, let's do it. Let me change you all who are watching live to the screen so you can actually see something. That'll be better. So we're currently doing this video, obviously, introduction, and not yet any of these. Let me just unbold these. Cool. So let's do it. Actually, let me just expand all of these. I'll need to make it slightly smaller, otherwise people who are watching live cannot see everything. I'll just zoom and I'll change the screen at some point whenever I'm at the bottom. Cool. Hey, and welcome back to this section called the winning campaigns. So in this section, I'm going to share 5 different winning automations. And besides just sharing what kind of automation has worked for us, and besides showing you exactly what emails we're sending out, I'm going to go very deep and detailed into these, showing you how to set it up. But even more importantly, perhaps, and more valuable to you, is very strategic things that you can implement into any of your emails, right? So as we're going through these automations, I don't want you to think about just these automations. It may well be that your choice is not to use any of them, or perhaps you just want to use one of them. But in each of those automations that I'm going to go through, there's actually, hold on, I'm going to redo the video. I'm not completely happy with this. Sorry for that, we're watching live. Hey there and welcome to this section of the email hacking masterclass. So just to catch up on what we've been going through so far. So far, we've been talking about the 3R model. In other words, to making sure using automation that we're sending out the right message at the right time to the right person. And we're doing that using personalization, automation, and segmentation. But what does this all mean? It's all kind of vague and theory, right? Well, that's going to change in this section, because in this section I'm going to go through 5 email automations and I'm going to show you exactly what they are, what kind of emails we're actually sending out, and how they all work and how to set them up. But here's the cool part. Even if any of those email automations is something that's not for you, or perhaps none of these email automations seem to click for you, guess what? Inside every one of those automations, we're actually diving into specific tactical things you can do inside any of your emails. So I want to encourage you to go through each of those email sequences, because inside them you'll find tricks that don't just apply to a specific email automation, but you can apply them on any of your email marketing. Even if you say like, hey, this email automation, I need to do it, but right now I'm super busy. Trust me, the tricks and trust me, the tips and tricks I'm going to share are going to help you with all of your email, not just your automated emails. I'll 100% guarantee you that. So specifically what we're going to do is I'm going to show, as you mentioned, so specifically what we're going to do is I'm going to show you 5 key automations. And the first one is I'm going to share the indoctrination sequence, which means that if someone joins your list, to make sure that we indoctrinate them with your brand, to make sure they get a good sense of who you are and what your brand is. And we do it in a clever way, in a way that makes you stand out, right? That's the first part. Then we're going to continue that buyer's journey. We're going to make sure someone doesn't just get to know your brand, but they actually trust you, right? We're doing that using what's called a value sequence. We're going to make sure that people actually get a ton of value from them, again, in a smart way, to make sure that by the time they're done with that, they don't just know your brand, they don't just know you, but actually know, like, and trust you. And that's the best place to start a relationship with them. Because if someone would become a customer from you or your brand and they don't really know, like, or trust you, they're not your best customers, right? So if someone actually knows, like, and trusts you, and then you're going to make them an offer, they're way more likely to buy and to actually stick with you as a business long term, right? And now all we're doing here is building a long-term business, not just something that's, you know, hypey and flashy today. After that, we're going to go, oh, that's in the wrong order, my apologies. After that, I'm going to take you through our special offer sequence, right? Because like it or not, at some point we need to get people to make a decision whether or not to get in on your service or in your product. Because like it or not, at some point we'll need to make sure that people will make a decision whether they want to buy your product or your service or not. And that's what we're going to do in our special offer sequence in a way that we're basically optimizing the chance and likelihood that they actually will. Now, another way that's very effective to get customers in and to get people excited about your product is a webinar. And also I'm going to dive into a webinar follow-up sequence, and I'm going to show you specific techniques that we're using there, which you can apply to any of your email automations. It will all make sense later on, trust me. And finally, also, well, let's say someone actually goes to your, they actually, you know, they've seen all your messages, they know, like, and trust you, and perhaps they've even received a special offer sequence, but they're still not quite there yet. They're still on the edge of buying, right? And they're still not 100% sure. Then the abandoned cart sequence is what's going to help them get them over the edge. And again, in each of those 5 automations, we're going to dive into specific sections that are not specifically related to each of those, but they just happen to be the places where I'm personally using them. And the goal of all of this is to, hold on, I promised you guys who are live to move this so you can actually see. So here we go. And the goal of all of this is to get people to, and the goal of all of this is to get people, come on. And the goal of all of this is to get you more customers, right? In other words, get people to know, like, and trust you, and get them through the buyer's journey. Because it's not like people are just gonna, you know, show up at your doorstep and they're like, hey, please, can I buy your product or service? In an ideal world, yes, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. In the real world, how it works is that someone would first be aware of the problem they're having, right? They need to be made aware of the problem they're having, the problem that you are solving. And every business solves a problem. Doesn't matter whether you're an e-commerce product or whether you're selling a service, you are solving a certain problem. And people need to be made aware of that problem, right? Once they're aware of that problem, they need to start considering a solution. That's right. They need to start considering a solution. They're like, all right, cool, this problem, and actually I want to solve it. Like, yes, I do want to fix it, right? And then obviously you want to make sure that you are the one that they are considering, and then you want to make sure that they actually make a buying decision. They're not just delaying the decision, but actually making a buyer's decision. And that's what we're going to do in the rest of this course, making sure that people are going to get to know, like, and trust you and your brand, and get them through the buyer's journey, making sure they're aware of the problem, making sure they're considering a solution and making sure that you are the person or the business to do that. And with that having said, I'll see you in the next video. All right. Whew. Let me just switch to my main screen. How was that so far? I'm still struggling with my mouse. The downside of having two screens, one there, one here. And that was the first video of the second section. Whew. Someone's asking, do I have a script? I do not have a script. This is my script. And it's funny, like usually I actually, every video that I do, I either do it scripted with the AutoCue. I put my iPad on the AutoCue and actually got an app for that. I'm not sure if you can actually, I don't think you can read it. That would be hard to read, but I got an app called Prompt Smart Pro. So that's basically an AutoCue where you can just play text. It's going to be in reverse right now. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me just check the screen. So it'd be like, whoop. No, anyway, it doesn't move right now, but whatever. So usually I do it with an AutoCue. That was what I was trying to say. Either with an AutoCue or whenever I try it without AutoCue, I just have to take a lot of takes in order to get it right. And with that, like this is actually an exception because now I cannot make it perfect. I just have to keep on going with the flow. So yes, there are things that normally I would redo and make it slightly better and make better connection and sometimes I'll record a video and I'll go back a couple of videos because I just realized I forget something there. I'm perhaps a bit of too much of a perfectionist. But for this one, yeah, I got the mind node right here, mind map, and sort of going with the flow with all of you guys and girls, having fun. And wow, it's been over 2 hours already. I appreciate that, Leon, a lot. And Carmen saying, with this email mind map you have, that's a good question. Carmen is asking, with this, you need to have an email list already, right? And that part is actually something that's going to come in later in the course because it may seem so, but it's actually not the case. So I'll skip to the end right now in a way. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of days, I'm going to show you the sequences, right? And the goal isn't to have all of that set up from day one, right? The goal is to set up, I'll talk about which ones, but there's certain that you want to set up even before you have an email list, right? Because like if I would go back in time, I remember like I built my list and I was like, I had no clue what to do. And people would join my email list. Basically, I would send out broadcast emails, right? Which means to everyone. And person A, they would sign up today and I would send a broadcast. And then person B would sign up in a week, and the first email that they would get is like, hey, remember the email I sent you yesterday or like the week before? And they were like, yeah, but I wasn't there, like I wasn't, you know, it's the wrong message to the wrong time, basically. So what I'm saying is that you want to make sure that you have certain things in place even before you have that email list, right? So you have those email automation in place so that once you start building your email list using UpViral, and I'm going to show you as well how to build your list. Like we're right now making sure we got everything in place once that people join your email list. I'm going to make sure to explain how to get people onto your email list as well. We'll get there. But if you have some of these things in place already, then every time someone joins your email list, right, they're going to be like, oh, this is awesome, and they're going to be way more likely to become a customer, which means that every lead is way more valuable. Because it's one thing to just measure and go for like, hey, I want to have as many leads as possible. But what's it worth to have 10,000 leads on your list if nobody cares who you are or who your business is, right? It's pretty worthless. Like if I would much rather have 3,000 leads and they're all like super passionate, like people like you who are showing up to this because you care, and it's the right message and you feel connected, right? And by making sure some of these things are in place, once someone's opt in, you can blow them away with some small stuff. Like it, again, this is the nitty gritty stuff is starting tomorrow and the day after, even more the day after as well, but tomorrow as well. So we're going to blow them up their socks once people join your list. So I hope that answers your question. So yes, I'm going to show you how to build your list as well. and I'm gonna and by having all this stuff in place, we are gonna how do you say that? By having this stuff in place, every lead that's coming in is going to be way more valuable. Now, again, I want to ask you all again, in case someone's watching right now and you weren't here before, I would appreciate it if you could let me know in the comments if this is any good and if you would recommend someone else to join as well. That's not for my ego, I don't need that, but obviously my goal is to help as many people as possible. And that way I can, perhaps quote someone like, hey, this is what this person said, like, so maybe the rest should come as well in an email that I'm sending out to everyone tomorrow. So I hope that is cool. Yeah, so let me just check the PromptSmart Pro. Yeah, sorry, checking I'm using the app PromptSmart Pro, I believe. Yeah. PromptSmart Pro. It's an iPad app and that will play it automatically. I used to have an app which recorded my audio and it would try to go, like it would listen to what I was saying and then scroll down based on what I was saying. Didn't work. So this just goes at a certain fixed speed very slowly and it works for me. All right. Just going through my notes to see if I forgot anything. Oh, so by the way, for those who are here, like I really appreciate it if you can come back tomorrow as well, so we can have more fun. We're like, I'm not done yet, like almost done, because obviously we still have to pick a viral winner, which means that someone who I'm gonna pick right now is gonna have, is gonna get a Viral Pro for a full year, which we're selling it on our website for $49 a month. So that is $588. I'm just pretending to calculate. I couldn't do that when I'm being live, but it's $588 a year, and someone's gonna get 1 year Viral Pro access for free. And I'm gonna dive into Viral right now. Let me just log in and pick a winner. Again, Aaron already won the t-shirt. And for tomorrow, if you want to win, the more people that have signed up through your link, the higher likelihood, the more likelihood you are to win as well. And again, as soon as 3 of your friends enter the email address, you're getting the free tool that I showed you earlier on. So I'm going to pick one winner again at random. And again, I have to say this, I'm going to check the fraud detection of a viral, like we automatically check who's been trying to trick the system. If I pick a winner and that person turns out to have tried to trick the system, obviously we're picking another winner. So it's possible that I mention your name and that if you trick the system, you're not the actual legitimate winner. So I want to make sure for legal reasons that that's all clear. And the winner is Rick, and obviously that's a very common name, so there could be multiple. Seems to be, based on his email, I'm guessing his email is Segers. This could be a Dutch name, I don't know. Viral picked it randomly. Actually, I cannot show you without. Let me just so you all know, I'm not trying to trick the system here. So I got my webcam right here, and I'm switching to the webcam. Boom, and I'm hoping. Let me just put it like that. Like, the first winner is Aaron, as you can see. That was for the t-shirt, and then we got Rick for the Viral Pro 1 year account. So congratulations to Rick for winning a Viral Pro for 1 year for free. And thanks for joining the campaign, obviously. Again, tomorrow we're gonna pick more winners. The more people you've invited, the more people who actually signed up through your link, the more likely you're to actually win. We got some cool prizes planned for you. So in between now and tomorrow, like, keep the buzz going. I would really appreciate that. And I hope you all get amazing value from this. And I hope I'm helping you with this course. Obviously, the course is going to be epic. Like, we're creating this course to sell later on, but because you're here, you're going to watch it live. And I think, like, we had some real cool stuff going on. Like, actually, let me just give you a quick sneak peek. You want a sneak peek of what we're going to do tomorrow? I'll share a quick sneak peek. I think that'll be good. Where's my? So, for example, tomorrow, like, oops, also in the wrong order. For example, inside the indoctrination sequence, which basically is an email sequence that we're sending out to get people, like, the very first things that are saying to make sure people actually have a good impression of your brand. But we're doing some cool stuff in there. For example, let me give you an example. What is a good one? Oh yeah, maybe this one is good. Can I just... I'm just trying to quickly... I'm not going to do the whole content because that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I just want to give you a quick sneak peek. So one of the things we're doing, when you're sending out an email, and sometimes maybe you've seen this as well. Sometimes when you get a first email from a company or a marketer or whatever, they say something like, "Hey, can you please add this to your address book or to your favorite, so that next time my email goes into your inbox instead of into the promotion folder," right? That's one way of doing it. That's the simple way. But as I mentioned, I've been talking in the course, the right message to the right time, and the right message, like there could be and I'll talk more about this in the course. I'll just want to keep this short, but the more targeted it is towards your reader, the more attention they're going to give you, and the more likely they are to respond. Now, what do you know from someone who's on your list? Like you can say like I know their name, I know their email address. What's in their email address? Blah 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 @gmail.com. Blah 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 @live.com. What do you know? They're using Gmail, or they're using Live, or they're using and there's certain email providers, they're just bigger than others, right? Gmail is big, Hotmail, Live, Outlook, things like that are big, right? So a big part of your list are going to be from from the top 5 email providers, right? So one of the things I'm going to show you, again, this is just one of the many videos we're going to do, is showing you instead of just saying hey, add my email to my favorites, actually have specific instructions for just Gmail, because we know that they're on Gmail, right? Or specific instructions just for Hotmail. And if you want to have a real cool nitty-gritty trick, something I've done in the past as well, because the more people reply to your emails, the more likely that your email actually goes to their inbox instead of going into spam, right? The more they reply to your email, the better they will be getting your emails in the future. And this is something, it's a bit maybe gray area, but in the footer I've said something like, P.S. I've heard that some Gmail users are having troubles with receiving my email. If you're on Gmail, could you please hit reply to let me know that you've received this? But only Gmail users would actually get that. But guess what? It says if you're a Gmail user, could you please? And they're like, but I'm a Gmail user. It's me, right? It's a simple yet effective way of personalization, using certain things that others just don't. Anyway, this is one of the many examples we're going to dive in today, tomorrow. I hope you kind of like that. So that's just a little sneak peek of what's in store for tomorrow. Again, I'm going to show you way more automations. We're going to talk about how to build your list. And again, this is all just part of we're creating this course, which we're going to sell later on. And we're just, for those of you who are watching this live, you can get to enjoy this and watch it all for free while I'm creating it. So with that having said, I think we've been live for, what is it, 2.5 hours now. So, so someone's asking, can I post a mind map somewhere for us down? Unfortunately, I cannot publish that. This is really something this video is all for you here, but the whole mind map folder, if we're gonna sell this course, right? And I want to be fair to everyone, so I don't want someone who is later on going to buy this course and get all the PDFs and whatnot, and just later realize that we're actually been giving away these PDFs for free as well. So that's just I want to be fair to everyone, so I need to make that distinction. So that's why we're not giving these PDFs or the mind maps away for free. If you understand that, still you get all this while I'm streaming it. But I want to be fair to everyone, so I hope you understand that. So we're not giving the PDFs for free, and that's also why we're not doing replays and stuff like that. This is just happening. Today you can watch it, tomorrow we'll watch it, the day after you can watch it, and then we're closing. All these videos will be gone, just so you know. And with that having said, I just want to once again appreciate you all, because for a lot of you you've been watching for 2.5 hours straight. If people say oh, you're doing this for 2.5 hours, you're doing this for 2.5 hours. You were watching with me here live, and you're somewhere in the world. I don't know where, like worldwide, like, and that's just awesome. So appreciate that. And with that having said, I think we're just gonna wrap this up. And again, I just cannot stress it out enough. Like, I'd love it if you can share this with your friends. Again, I've told you about it. We're giving away prizes and things like that. So if you want to win, then make sure to share this with your friends. Make sure more people actually sign up for tomorrow and be there tomorrow as well. We're going to be at it's going to be at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, New York. That's 2 p.m. for me in the Netherlands. Obviously, I don't know all the time zones on the top of my mind. But I think from 8 a.m. ET New York, you'll be able to calculate that to your own time zone. And it's the same time as today, basically, but then tomorrow and the day after. So Argan says cool. Ryan is from the Netherlands, which is awesome. Yeah, man, it's been fun. And girls, obviously. So I want to thank everyone a lot. And I'll see you all tomorrow. We're going to continue with the course, and we're going to have more fun together. So with that having said, I'll see you all tomorrow. Ooh, now I need to figure out how to stop the stream. Stop it.